Hey everyone, welcome to the live magic Q&A tea party. I got my tea with my Cancer mug because I'm a Cancer. I'm imaginative and moody AF. I just want to say that. I can be totally moody. Not today though. I'm happy. I'm not moody because I have Cooper Kaminsky in the room with me. If you're watching this on YouTube or some other medium out there in the stratosphere and you want to be with us live, it's a simple thing to do. You need to sign up to be in the Spell Squad. It's a Spell Squad clubhouse. Spell Squad members only. No one else admitted except for us, but it's easy to join. You don't have to be, there's nothing that doesn't cost anything to be a Spell Squad member. We don't require any initiation rites or paddlings or binge drinking, nothing like that to be in the Spell Squad. All you have to do is sign up, go to spellsquad.com, sign up, you'll get the link to come and join us in the clubhouse every Sunday. We meet here at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We meet here for an hour. We answer your questions about magic, law of attraction, divination, spirits, spirit guides, ghosts. What else, Cooper? What else can we answer questions about?
Everything
Spiritual.
Anything's open game.
Everything except things we don't know about.
Exactly.
Don't ask me about conjuring demons, because I don't know anything about that. All right. So join us here. You can join us live if you're watching this in a recording. I love that we have a nice big full room of people that are going to be popping questions into that chat room that we're going to be getting to in a minute. In case you have stumbled upon this and you're wondering who the heck is this lady with the purple hair, I'm Madame Pamita. I own the Parlor of Wonders. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. It's Parlour because we're fancy here at the Parlor of Wonders. And I'm also the one who does the live magic Q&A tea party. And I have a kind of in hiatus podcast called Magic and the Law of Attraction. I have a book out called Madame Pamita's Magical Tarot. And I have another book coming out, actually, which has a title called The Candle Magic Book. Simply The Candle Magic Book. That's what it's going to be called. Guess what it's about? I don't know. What do you think? Anyway, got a book coming out soon. Excited about that. Been working on that. Every week we have a wonderful guest. Most weeks we have a wonderful guest. I'm not just here by myself. I have an amazing, amazing person to bring to the clubhouse to introduce to you guys so that you get to meet amazing people who are doing amazing work out in the world. And this week is no exception. I have the fabulous Cooper Kaminsky with me. Cooper is based in Denver, so you're mountain time, right? You're mountain time, not central time, right?
Mountain time, snowy mountain time.
Oh my gosh. He is an amazing intuitive empath. I met him over at Ritual Craft. Do you do readings at Ritual Craft sometimes? Classes?
No, I have taught there occasionally. I will collaborate with some ceremony work, and I do some collaborations with some other teachers there. But you can find me teaching classes all over Denver and reading in Denver in my space.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love Denver. Denver is a super magical town, and there's amazing witches in Denver. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
There's some amazing
There's an incredible community.
He's not only he's an intuitive empath, and he does tarot readings and Reiki, and he does Akashic Records readings. He does all of those amazing things, but you're also an art witch. What's an art witch? I want to know what that means.
Totally. Well, I think that artists and witches and artists and magicians are interchangeable words, really. And I think my earliest experience is finding magic and connecting with my own power and my own magic has been through art. So I carry my creative self very close to my heart, and I feel like I integrate the artistic aspect into all my magic, and I integrate all my magic into all of my art. It's a huge parallel.
It's amazing. What's really interesting is I was on somebody else's podcast, and they were asking me about creation, making, and your magic, and those being separate lives, and I go, they're not separate. They're not separate at all. Not at all. And I've been kind of posting it on Instagram. I don't have them handy, so I'm not going to go get them. But I've been doing a lot of painting lately. I do music all the time. So all of those things, you bring your magical self to those artistic work. And I think that the art, a lot of times for me, it reveals things. It's like doing a reading for yourself, almost like, I think. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think readings are such a reflection of the reality we're experiencing. And
Yeah.
art is very much the same way. It's our job as artists and as magical people to kind of put that mirror up and show everyone what the reality's like, or sometimes totally kick that door down and show others that there are many, many other realities and other worlds that can be tapped into, and art absolutely accomplishes that, I think.
I mean, I think it's incredible. Like for me, I used to do very, very controlled, very old master style art. And I gotta say,
Yeah.
I was kind of good at it. I could do that really super controlled. Well, I've started doing a completely wild art that I cannot control the medium. It does whatever it wants to do. And what happens is I have a conversation with the paint versus me being being a ringmaster controlling the lion. I'm now like running free with the lions in the wild. That's what I feel like my art is doing.
Yes.
So it's a pretty amazing. And what happens when I do an art piece is it talks to me, like a reading talks to me. So there's something going on there for sure.
Totally.
So Cooper has been kind enough not only to come here and talk and answer our questions, which we got some questions, so we'll get right to those. But you have a couple of things. One thing coming up today is you're going to do a brief tarot reading for somebody that is chosen toward the end of our session today. So if you guys that are in the clubhouse here, if you want to have a reading, Cooper, what word should they type in or what emoji should they put in to be in the contest?
Ooh, my favorite emoji is the little, the 3 little twinkling stars.
I love that emoji too.
Little circle. Yes, exactly.
The sparkle.
The sparkle.
So if you would like to be in, either put the sparkle emoji or type the word sparkle, and you will be in the running to have a reading with Cooper. Now, Cooper, you've got some fun stuff coming up in Denver. You've got a tarot class coming up, right?
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I'm teaching a modern tarot intensive this month in Denver. It's going to be at Greenlight Reiki Healing, which is in Five Points, one of my favorite neighborhoods. And I am going to talk about the modern approach to reading tarot. So we'll cover some traditional interpretations and learning systems, but I teach in a very modular way. And I think it's important to address like modern issues and modern symbolism in the cards, because we're living in the modern world and it's important to learn how to apply that. And I integrate my divination with my own healing work as well. And I think that tarot especially can be such an important tool for further insight with any sort of healing work you're doing. So there's going to be an emphasis on using tarot for healing work for yourself and healing work for others if you are a healer. I'm super excited about it.
It sounds amazing. I think that integrative approach to tarot is something that's like a beginner can benefit, but even somebody that knows about how to read might benefit from going to I would love to go to this class, and I've been doing tarot since the ancient times.
I think that's what's so cool about it too, is I really do, once we get the ball rolling in the class, it becomes this open forum, and we all come from such different experiences and very shared experiences sometimes. So it's important to hear other people's perspectives, and I think that is part of the modern approach, not just the empress and the emperor is the mother and father. There's so much more depth to it than that, which is amazing.
That's what I love. I mean, that's why I love still taking classes and things that I already know about, because you will get a different perspective. So if you guys are in the Denver area or you know people in the Denver area, how can they find out about your class and how to sign up and all of that jazz?
Absolutely. It's linked on my Instagram. It's in my bio at Cooper Kaminsky. Or it's also up on Eventbrite in Denver. So if you go on Eventbrite and search Tarot Denver, you'll see my Modern Tarot Intensive show up. It's like the fourth or third result down, which I'm super excited about. So if you're in the Denver area, definitely sign up. I'm so excited to be hosting this really intimate tarot intensive.
I
Teaching
love
is
that.
like it's just so much fun because like you say, like there's always something to learn, and I feel like I end up learning even more.
It's so true.
Every time I teach.
And you know what? That's one of the things I love about, there's two things I love about teaching. Number one, I love my students see things in the cards. Like every tarot class I teach, I learn something. A student will say, oh, look at that, da, 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 da. Or they'll say like, oh yeah, look at the Fool card. Well, you know, we don't know how high that cliff is. That cliff could be 2 feet tall. And I'm like, you're right. We don't know how high that cliff is.
Totally.
You know, that the students always look at something. The other part I love about teaching is seeing people go from 0 to 60, seeing people go from knowing nothing about tarot, not being able to read tarot, feeling very intimidated by it, to being really empowered. And I think you're probably a natural teacher too that loves that whole experience as well.
Especially if you're teaching anything in the realm of intuitive work, there's a moment where things just click for people. And it's like just spirit comes in.
Yeah.
And it's what they've started to learn. It's the book unfolds and the story begins, and this is so beautiful to me.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love it. So are you ready to get to some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So let me go down. I'll look at everyone saying hi. Adam, Katie, Jill, Emily, Angela, Buchanan. Buchanan has our first question. Once we get to the questions, which we're at the questions, I'd love to know what some of your favorite tarot spreads are. What's your favorite? Let's just pick our favorite number one tarot spread. Do you have one that's a favorite one? Do you have one that you like to use or that's special?
Totally. I almost exclusively read with a 3-card spread. I think that there's so much detail in all of the cards and so much detail in what's coming through that you could spend hours on a 3-card spread if you wanted to. And the way I lay it out is I lay it out as a loose past, present, future. There's a lot of emphasis on the center card for me. But on a grander sense, I take a look at the center card, and the card to the left is kind of what you're coming into or what you're coming from in the situation. And the furthest card on the right-hand side is where things are going on the trajectory of your present and with the energy that you're dealing with. And I tend to pull some additional cards for clarification, but it's very kind of loose and casual. I think that super formal spreads in my own practice it's held back the kind of language of the cards for me.
You know, it's interesting. I have a similar kind of reading layout that I like to use. One of the things I want to point out two things though, that for you guys that are tarot readers out there, I've had a revelation about the Celtic cross, and particularly the cross, not the 4 on the side, but the cross in the center. We have that past, present, future card. And then we have the bottom, like let's say there's north, south, east, and west. We have that south and that middle and then that north card up on top. When I start to see these and I start to work with that layout, I look at it as past, present, future in the material world as we go horizontally. I look at it as like the spiritual development as we go up, meaning like, as we look at that bottom card, that's like the spiritual foundation. The center crossing card is like the spiritual present. And then the high card up on top is like the spiritual expansion, where you're going on your spiritual journey. So here we have a material journey as we go across, and here we have a spiritual journey as we go up on that Celtic cross. But I have to say there's a layout that I use often when people have a particular, if it, like Celtic Cross is great, I think, for when we do a general sort of like, let's see what we see around the situation, because it likes to look at it from a lot of angles, and I like that part of it. But if someone has a specific question that they're asking, I want to know what's happening in this situation, I'll sometimes throw down 3 cards like you do. But one of the readings layouts that I use is, it has no name. I call it in my mind, the daisy layout, because, you know, like a little daisy has a center and then it has 6 petals around it. I put 1 card in the center and then I put 6 cards around it. And those 6 cards have a lot of dimension and a lot of play. Like you are playing with your 3 card spread. I look at like those 3 that are on the top as like the awareness. What are you aware of? The 3 on the bottom, what are you unaware of? The ones on the left, the 2 on the left, as what is you're bringing from the past, the 2 on the right, what you're going to be working on in the future, the ones in the center, what it's present. So there's a lot of sort of loose play, but that one central card being the central theme. So I just made up this layout. So I encourage you guys that are playing with tarot to start playing with looser layouts, or play with just like throwing down 3 cards and seeing, instead of them having a position and having a meaning, what do you get from the 3 cards? What intuitively are you guided? And I bet that's what you're doing, Cooper, really. When you say like,
yeah. And I've played around too. I get in like waves where there will be one specific thing that I like to incorporate in readings. And I've played around with what I like to call mixing mediums a little bit, where I use the tarot cards as the main spread, and then I'll use an oracle deck to pull 1 extra card, and that will kind of serve the purpose of those almost the 4 extra cards in the Celtic Cross, that kind of further information area. And that's really helpful, especially if you have an oracle deck that is so simple. And I think oracle decks can be very helpful for like internalizing and digesting. And it can be such a wonderful little like bookend and knot to use with any tarot spread, but especially with the 3 card spread, it's nice to have something a little extra to add to the reading to sum things up.
yeah, it's like, I think that those mixing decks is something, I do it a little bit. I don't do it like some people do it every reading. I have readers and friends who are readers who are like, they always use it. And I love that. I myself personally don't tend to do that, but I do bring it in sometimes. With past life readings, definitely. When I do a past life reading, I'm bringing in 3 different decks and we're working with it. But when I do a straight up tarot reading, I always think, gosh, sometimes I get a notion, and then one day I'll bring it in, and then it'll go away for 2 months. You know what I mean? But I love that mixing of the cards and having that looseness. It's a little bit like art and painting, right?
Totally. Yeah, that's why I kind of looser spreads too. Like it's fun to get into that almost Jackson Pollock vibe with how you're throwing down cards.
Yeah.
And it's a good reminder that, you know, sometimes you just need to just let it out. You know?
Yeah. And let the intuition lead you. It doesn't have to be so structured, you know, with like this position means this thing. I think that's helpful when you're beginning, and then as you start to get a little more confident, you can start to loosen up a little bit, you know. Adam has a question for you in particular. I guess it's for you. Maybe he doesn't want to know what I think of this. I don't know. He says, hi, Cooper, what is your favorite tarot deck? And do you use oracle cards as well? And if so, which one is your go-to? So we already started talking about that, but there we are asking now in particular.
My favorite deck is my first deck. The first time I went to New Orleans, I had a reading, and it was my first reading ever, which is such a magical thing to be in that city.
Yeah.
Your first reading, the first time. And the next day I was in the back of a conjure shop. I can't remember which one it was, but this deck found me, and it was the Aquarian Tarot, which is one of my favorites. It's so gorgeous. It's like psychedelic, but also deco. And I like that it has that traditional Smith Waite feel to it, but it's a little bit more like close up. Yeah. It doesn't have the distance there, and it becomes a very like it feels like a very empathic deck for me. I love it.
I love that deck. So beautiful.
Yeah, and I have this other deck, which is one of my favorites too. It's the Kitty Kahane Tarot, and the backs are just like, they're just gorgeous. It's a German deck, and it's very whimsical, and it's whimsical, but it also kicks your ass, which I think is an ideal type of tarot deck. And what I like about it is it feels very modern and very diverse. It has a very like gender fluid, racially fluid feel to it, which has served me well. I love that deck because there's such a cool whimsy and like essence to it, which is awesome. And my favorite oracle deck is Marcella Kroll's Nature Nurture deck.
Oh, go Marcella.
Oh, I know.
Hashtag we love Marcella.
I love it. And it's just, I love it because I think a perfect oracle deck is like the perfect book of poetry in that you can throw it in your bag and carry it anywhere you go, and it has that like snappy on the go feel to it, but it's also so grounded in nature and spirit, and it's there's a simplicity to it that I love.
I love that. Yeah, Marcella Kroll has a couple decks, and I love her deck, the symbols deck, the sacred symbols deck.
Yeah,
that's her first deck, and she did another version of it. The first one, the original one, that was so amazing, and it's beautiful, and it's super on point. And if you think symbolically, it's such a good deck. If you think symbolically, so yeah. Oh my God, amazing. Katie has a question. Let me ask you something, Cooper. Do you do spell work?
I do. Yeah.
She has a spell question. So she says, hi, do you think a spell can sometimes not work, but it was meant to be that way because it forces you to look at the issue in a different way? What do you think?
Yes, I do. I think that there's a few factors that could come into play with spell work. And that's such an important question when you're starting to do work for yourself, because it helps reflect that intention and kind of where you're putting your power and focus and energy in your life. I have this particular time where I was trying to do some love work for myself, and it wasn't time. It was like career success time, and the spell not working was the biggest like activation for me. And I think when spells don't work the way you want them to or the way you need them to, it's important to step back and see what else needs focus if you're doing it for yourself. Yeah, but it's also, practice makes perfect, and spell work definitely is like that too. And I'm sure you can speak to that as well.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I mean, to say spells not working is that's a big topic, because is it the spell? Do we see like a big sooty burn on a glass encased candle? That's a spell where there's some spiritual blockage of some kind. When we see like a dark soot that's coming up, cracked dishes, things like that, like, okay, that's telling you need to clean something up spiritually, or you need to do something, a different kind of work, or try it at a different angle, or try something. So a spell, quote, not working can sometimes be like, oh, you need to do something different. An example, I can think of an example, like if, let's say you have a reconciliation spell and that person isn't talking to you, and you do a spell, do a glass encased candle, and the candle burns sooty. So we know that there's some spiritual blockage to them not talking to you. Well, first of all, if you get something that's showing you, like the candle results will show you what you need to do, and then if you need to do something else, then do that other thing. It may also show you that a different approach might be necessary. Like maybe what you need to do is like a sweetening spell, like a honey jar spell, or something else that is a little more consistent rather than a candle spell. So you're not, Katie isn't saying specifically a candle spell, but I'm thinking in terms of candle spell. Sometimes a different approach is needed. Sometimes it's a timing situation. Like maybe you're going to get that thing, but you're impatiently going like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And that is kind of putting doubt on the situation. Like let's say you did a love spell and then there's no lover in front of you. And then you're like, oh, that spell didn't work. Why not give it some time to see what develops, and rather than making a judgment on the spell not working too?
Yeah. I feel like it's exactly, there's no like total fail, but I feel like when spells don't go how you want them to or expect them to, there's more of a signaling, and that signaling is either do it differently or do something else.
Or do something else, or refocus your question. Yeah, or wait, or refocus your question. But I would say to not get into a negative space of saying my spell didn't work. All right, well, maybe I need to bring something else to the table, or maybe there's some other approach that I can take, or maybe I just need to let it sit, marinate. Sometimes people get impatient with spells. I find, they think, oh, I have to do it. It didn't show up today, and my candle just ended. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not how it usually works. It doesn't happen in one day, the next day. We got some more people saying hi to you. We got Jim Barker saying hi Cooper. iPhone says hi to everyone. I don't know who was on the end of that iPhone, but somebody with an iPhone is saying hi. Chandra's saying hi. Angela is asking a question. What can you do magically if you work at a job where supervisors show extreme favoritism bias to be treated fairly and with respect? That's a fabulous question. What if someone was experiencing a situation on a job where the boss was favoring other employees? What's a handy tip? I mean, we don't know the exact situation. We haven't done a reading on it, but what could you recommend as a kind of a generic thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is adornment, and kind of magical adornment. They say that it's important to dress for the job that you want. But I think what you can do to kind of raise your vibration or raise that energy and feel more seen in that space is dress for the job.
Success. Dress for success.
It's huge. And you can do that, literally, but you could also do that magically. There's, you can work some conditioned oils into what you wear to work. That's huge. You can carry certain stones for empowerment that can help raise that vibration of authority. And I think that when it comes to not feeling seen and feeling like you're at the throes of favoritism in work, magically you don't necessarily want to put in like dive into that warrior mode. You want to come in with that authority. And I think adornment is such an incredible, simple way to raise that vibration and to raise your sense of power and authority in your space.
I think in talking about what you brought up, something that I think is amazing, which is the idea of the clothing that you wear to work. How can we magically, like every part of your life, as a lot of you guys here in the room already know, you can make every part of your life magical. You can turn your tea into a magic potion. Your bergamot tea is your power tea, right? Your empowerment tea, because it's got bergamot in it. Your Earl Grey tea is your power tea, right? So what is it that we can do that's very subtle but powerful on the job? I love your idea of like the clothing that you wear being like aspirational in some way, but also color magic. Oh, yeah. Like I think like, what are the colors that you have that you can wear? Here's the thing. I'm wearing black right now. Black is a color of cloaking, hiding, protection. That's great. But if you want to get chosen for the promotion, probably not a great color to wear for color magic. It's great to be protected, but not so great to be seen. You want to bring out those colors that are purple for your power, gold for your success, green for your prosperity, those kinds of powerful magical colors. or think about like your chakras, like what chakra do you want to activate? I want a chakra, my solar plexus chakra. So I'm going to wear yellow to work, so I think you can find ways to work with color magic and do that and have some, bring that success. I think the first thing that comes to my mind too is, golly gee, how about this? Easy magic with things in your cupboard. I'm all about that. Get a bay leaf out of your kitchen cupboard.
Oh yeah.
Write your wish that my boss respects me and sees me and promotes me and champions me. Write that on the bay leaf and stick it in your shoe when you go to work. How's that for a little spell that you can do today? Unless you don't cook, then you're gonna have to go to the grocery store. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Bay leaves are like, it's my favorite daily magic.
Yeah, a bay leaf is like, everybody's got a bay leaf, right? If you don't, your neighbor has one, your friend has one, your mom has one, somebody has one, right? So that's a great kind of magic spell that you can do. And you can write a petition on a bay leaf, which is awesome, and stick it in your shoe and wear it to work. But I think that color magic is such an easy-ish thing to do, unless you have all black in your wardrobe, which is great, like I said, for protection, but may not be so great for having the positive recognition. Wear jewelry that has those colors in it. Gemstones. That's an easy way to carry a gemstone, is to wear a piece of jewelry that has that gemstone in it. And then you're carrying that gemstone with you.
And I would add to that too. I in this particular situation with being and feeling seen at work and getting out of that favoritism, don't just carry your gemstones, wear them in your jewelry. That display and that projection is only going to like activate it even more. I'm a huge proponent for jewelry as magic, because it's stuff that we carry with us every day, and it holds our imprint. It's so powerful. It's
talisman magic when we wear jewelry. Like the jewelry that I'm wearing right now is these snakes, which are regeneration. Look at that. Beautiful. And this is made by a beautiful, amazing artisan. I got this at PantheaCon. Oh, that's something I can announce. I will announce a big announcement about PantheaCon. We're going to be blowing that party out. Wait till you hear. I'm going to say at the end. I'm seeing now people putting their sparkles in. If you would like to be in the running to get a reading from Cooper at the end of our session today, either type the word sparkle or put the sparkle emoji or something that looks like a sparkle emoji, and you'll be in the sweepstakes. Yes, someone put stars. That will work. Stars will work. Adam has a question. Would you, Cooper, would you consider doing an online course at some point in time for the modern tarot class?
Absolutely.
I'll be there if you do.
Online course. Yeah, for sure. That's on my list, as well as doing some more online offerings with the queer magic work that I do. I think that's something that a lot of people would enjoy in the interwebs. So yeah, that's definitely a near future plan for sure.
Can I give you a little hint and a helpful hint on that? Zoom is amazing because that's what we're all on today. Zoom, when you have a Zoom account, you can teach a class and have breakout rooms where the students can be in their own private little room of 2 people and can read for each other, practice reading for each other, and then you bring them back into the main room. It's the ideal. Like, I wanted there to be an online version of a real class where people could practice with each other, and you can do it on Zoom. So we'll talk about that offline some point. but I'm just saying that's an amazing resource if you're teaching a tarot class, is Zoom. All right. Clarinka has a question. When you are doing a reading about a current relationship, is it possible that Spirit gives you answers about a past relationship instead, as if Spirit is saying you need to know this more than what you were asking about?
Yes. So in my readings, I work with the Akashic records, and Akashic records, they're the imprint that your soul carries, and your soul carries with you from this lifetime, from past lifetimes, future lifetimes. And when past relationships show up in current relationship readings, that is because there are certain patterns that you keep repeating in the relationships that you are going through, that you've been through. Sometimes past relationships show up. But when they show up either on a past life level or present life level, they're showing up to let you know that there's this like kind of stumbling block. There's this pattern that keeps kind of recycling in your lifetime. So when they do show up, it's not always, I was going to say it's not always a negative thing, which is true, but it's really important for you to use that information and see how you can clear those patterns and smooth that patterns out, whether it's in your current relationship or whether the current relationship is bringing that pattern back up. So when they show up, it shows up like that in my readings and experience.
Yeah, it might be like, I would say if that was happening in a reading, that it would be an indication you need to do some healing work around that. Like there's unfinished business with that past relationship, whether it's you need to cut and clear, you need to heal it, you need to embrace it, or you need to do some kind of recognition of it. So if that's showing up, to me, it's like there's unfinished business there, whatever that may look like. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And it reminds me of something that one of my favorite authors, Robert Moss, said. He's an incredible dream worker, but he wrote this book called Sidewalk Oracles, which I really recommend. And he talks about patterns repeating themselves. And he talks about it as far as like walking around a little mountaintop. And when you get to the same tree that you see at the beginning of your cycle, instead of recycling on that same ground level pathway, when you see that pattern showing back up, and if it's showing back up through a reading, that's your signal to start to kind of climb up that hill, and put the work in to go to rise above that situation. And that can be, healing centered, and it can be, it can require some cord cutting or some deeper work. And I love how he describes that as either repeating that cycle or rising above it, but in the same space. That metaphor was just really beautiful, and that shows up a lot when it comes to past relationships.
I think a lot of people find that a lot of aspects of their life can be cyclical like that, but I think we often see it in relationships, starting with our relationship with our family, a family of origin, past lives that can come up. And then as we start to see those patterns, do I like this pattern, or do I want to change it, or do I want to heal it? Or, there can be things that you want to embrace and things that you want to shed. So, all right, Sophie has a question. Hello there. Do either of you use astrology in your readings? I'm referring to the sun sign of the person you are reading for. I have used this professionally to unfold the meaning of the cards. Do each of you do this? Do you do this, Cooper?
Hi, Sophie. I sometimes I use it more to help create the language of what needs to come through. So if I'm giving a reading and, we're talking about how you're a Cancer, then that's going to help you understand that where you're at in the situation may be more feeling centered than Virgo, who could be approaching it more pragmatic like me. I approach everything with too much Virgo.
You know what? Can I just say, Virgo, you guys are the most sensitive earth sign. I think you guys are quasi water signs.
It's true.
There's a lot of compassion coming from Virgo. So don't go there.
No, it's true. It's true. And I mean, my chart is almost entirely Virgo, and I love how much Mercury is in that. And I feel like that is where my empath comes through and where my magician comes through a little bit. But again, like what we're talking about now is exactly how I would be incorporating astrology into a reading. I think it helps flavor the understanding of what's coming through in the cards.
Yeah, I especially use it when people are trying to understand another person, whether that's a lover, a family member, and they're having some kind of interaction. I find that understanding at least the sun sign, I mean, the sun sign is only one part, but it is a core essence of who that person is. It may not be who they present, but it tells you who they are. So it can tell you how to approach that person, right? If I want Cooper to get on board with something, oh my gosh, you can use astrology to manipulate, right? I'm about to get into manipulation here. If I want Cooper to be on board with something, I can go, Cooper, oh my gosh, you're going to help so many people by doing this. It's going to be amazing. Like, you will touch so many lives. And Cooper will be like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. Right? Right.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's context. It's so helpful.
Because as a Virgo is sign of service. So knowing that he's got all that Virgo in his chart, I can use my wiles, my astrological wiles. But talking to people about, let's say, their Virgo partner, I can say, oh, this is what they are confronted with, and this is what they're dealing with, and this is how their bright side shows up. This is how their shadow side shows up. This may be why, you're an earth sign, they're an earth sign, you're an air sign, you don't understand each other. I mean, there can be a lot of things that we can get into understanding. So it does come into play, and it does give some depth to the cards and shows me why some certain cards are showing up too, if we're looking at a relationship of any kind, right?
Yeah. And I mean, there's a huge, if I know that my sitter is a Taurus and the King of Pentacles shows up, then I know that they're going to relate to that specific card as well. And I think that astrology can be helpful, not necessarily just for the sitter, but also as the reader to help connect the dots in your own mind with how your querent is relating to the card specifically.
Yeah. I also love to do that because I know also it helps me, how I think maybe what you're experiencing too, Sophie, is like, it helps me to understand the person that I'm reading for. I look at that little Aries and I go, oh my gosh, you are the little baby of the zodiac. You are bright and adventurous and full of fun and want to go out and explore. You also get impatient. Every time I tell an Aries, you get issues with patience, don't you? They're like, oh my God, yes, I totally do. They all own it, but it's like, we can look at those sort of general understanding of those sun signs and tap into things that also kind of have a very quick way of making the person that we're reading for feel seen, right? Yeah. Like, do you subscribe to Benny Drama, Benito Skinner on, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. I've seen those videos. The like dating Scorpio or whatever. Or, like they're hilarious. Yeah. So he does all these like what's it like dating a Scorpio? What's it like dating like Virgo? And so they're really like over the top and very funny, but like I feel like, oh my gosh, he totally is reading me. Like the Cancer one is like, oh, come on, honey, tell me what, like, tell me how you feel. I'll give you a hug. Let me cook for you. Let me take care. Let me mama you. I'm everybody's mama, right? So I do feel like that those kind of shorthand things acknowledge, I mean, you want to, I see the light of every astrological sign. Yeah. The beautiful part that is the brightest expression of that sign. And I come to that person going like, oh my gosh, you're that fabulous Aries, Jim Barker, who is like a little baby, who is very resilient, who was willing to go out, who wants to play and have fun. And I love that about you, So, so it is that beautiful way of seeing someone, acknowledging someone, being witness to someone in a very, in 30 seconds, you can have that. And that's a lovely, lovely thing. Sophie says, thank you, Cooper and Madame Pamita. Yes, I use it as a bridge of understanding to have the cards work as better tools of transformation. Yay to Virgos and Cancer. Yeah, Moon and Mercury power. Sag here. Here's what I say to Sages. And it's like,
without a doubt, like when I say to the Aries, oh my gosh, you guys, you're adorable, and patience is a challenge for you. And they're like, oh my God, it totally is. Sagittarius is like, oh my gosh, I just want to hold their hands and go, you have a way of going in the world where you're moving and exploring everything. Like you're going over here and exploring it until you get bored of it. And then you go over here and explore this thing until you get bored of that. And this world is a Capricorn, our culture is a Capricorn culture. You must go A, B, C, and D and go on. You go to, take biology in college, and then you go to medical school, and then you're a doctor for the rest of your life. That's what our society rewards. It does not reward the Sagittarian running around having amazing experiences. But here's what I say to the Sagittarians. You guys have a unique recipe that no one can replicate because you've explored a unique constellation of life experiences. So when you go to that job and you bring in your job over here working at a tattoo parlor and a job over here working at as a bartender and a job over here working as a tarot card reader, when you bring all of that to that job over there, you're bringing all kinds of uniqueness to that situation. And I want to honor that and value that in you. So there you go, Sag. Scorpio here. Oh my gosh. Now we're going to do astrological readings for everyone. All right. It's time for us to do a little reading. You ready to do a reading? Let me count. Okay. Last chance to get your sparkle in. Last chance to get your sparkle in because I'm going to start counting them. Okay. Get your sparkle in. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. 10. So 10, 1 through 10, pick a number between 1 through 10. You get to pick a number, Cooper.
Okay. 8 is showing up. Let's do 8.
8. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Leah's iPhone. Leah, are you here? Let's find out if you're here. Leah's tarot is probably Leah's iPhone, I'm going to guess. I'm going to unmute you, Leah. There's Leah's iPhone. There she is. Hi, Leah. Are you there? Hello, Leah? Leah? She's not listening. You snooze, you lose. Where'd she go?
I think she typed in hi.
Oh, okay. Is she doing? Oh, so Leah, can you, I unmuted you. Can you talk on your iPhone? Can you type in your question? Let's do that. Since you're able to type, I'm going to mute you again. Go ahead and type in your question. You can start shuffling your cards, Cooper. I'll put your screen up.
Awesome. I'm shuffling away.
Maybe we'll just do a general if she doesn't type in something. General. She says general. Okay. General.
Okay, Leah.
Oh, she's driving. Don't type and drive, Leah. Sorry. Okay. Listen.
Yeah, don't type and drive. You can watch this on YouTube later.
Don't predict it. Let's hope the tower card doesn't show up, right? The car crash card.
Okay, let's take a look, Leah. Okay, I pulled 3 cards for you. We have the Hermit, the 4 of Cups, and the 2 of Pentacles. I want to take a second. Yeah. What's showing up with the Hermit for you is you have been going through this phase of solitude, and I feel like a lot of that has been coming through some big shifts that you've been going through with your friendships, and the people that have been very closely connected to you and kind of your chosen circle. I see you wanting to like push away from that right now, but the 4 of Cups is coming through to remind you to take a look at who's Thank you. Yeah, take a look at who's showing up for you right now. And that's really important. And the reminder with the Hermit and the Four of Cups showing up together is that you do have help. You know, your desire to want to do everything on your own is not always what's best for you, and best for your mental health, especially, and emotional health. And I know it can feel kind of difficult for you, Leah, to open up to the people close to you, and you may have a little bit of that providing energy. But the reminder right now is to take a look at who's providing that emotional support for you right now, especially with the shifts that you've been going through in your friendships and closeness. I see a little bit of a sister energy coming up with the Four of Cups, and that could be where that extra cup is coming through. And the Two of Pentacles is really interesting too. I feel like you've had a little bit of creative blockages recently. And that Hermit energy usually serves you well when it comes to doing those creative things. But it's time to break through with that and expand that a little bit, and bring some more things to the table, and spend some time integrating creatively. And that's going to help you, juggle those two pentacles a little bit better. It's going to help, not just that integration isn't just going to help the work that you're doing, but it's going to help the work that you're doing help you, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I love that.
So that's for you, Leah. Hopefully you are driving safe.
Yes.
We didn't get a tower card, so
yes, good. She's going to arrive safely, right? Wherever she's driving.
Yeah.
So before we go, it's almost time to go. It's 5:55 here on the West Coast. So just a reminder, what do you have coming up? You have your Tarot Intensive. When does that start, the Tarot Intensive?
It starts this upcoming week. It starts Friday the 8th. So if you're interested in signing up, hop on Eventbrite Denver, search Tarot. It's the Modern Tarot Intensive, and sign up. It's 4 classes. It's going to meet Fridays in this November. I'm also including readings for all of the students at the end of the course, because I think it's important to it's important to experience lots of different readers, and it's a special thing to have that exchange with, your teacher and the people in your class, which is cool. I am also doing a podcast in December with the Diviner Life. The podcast is called Let's Be Ominous, which I like. So keep your eyes peeled and open for that.
They can find you. Yeah, they can find you on Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram is great. I am very active in Instagram, probably more than I need to be. But my Instagram is my name. It's at Cooper, Cooper, Kaminsky, Kaminsky. No spaces. That's my Instagram. Yeah, Madame Pamita just
typed it in the chat, and I'll have it in the YouTube comments too as well. You had mentioned that people that were listening to this and watching this and here in the clubhouse, you were going to do maybe a little special. We talked about this before, giving them a little bit of a discount on a reading with you.
Yeah, totally. I'm so happy all of y'all tuned in today. I am doing a little special on my website for members of the Spell Squad. If you're watching this video, I am doing a discount on all of my phone readings and remote healing sessions. And that's on my website, which is my name, again, just cooperkaminsky.com. And the code that you can use is Spell Squad 10, no spaces. And maybe if you could put that up there.
Yeah, doing that right now.
Number 10. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly it. So I would love to sit with you, even over the phone or virtually, or if you're in Denver, come sit with me in person. Come to my space, and I'd love to see you. So that Spell Squad 10 is for a little treat for youth spell squad folk. And that will be good for all of my readings if you book over the course of this month. So I'm really happy to offer that for you guys.
Fabulous. So they have to book it between now and the end of November. If they book that, they can use that code and get that discount and have a fabulous session with you. I love it.
Yeah, and you could book anytime. You could book in March if you wanted to, but it's, log on now.
Do it now. Do it now. People are standing by on phones to answer your call or whatever. What is it? They used to say in the old days. Yeah, exactly. So they can find you at cooperkaminsky.com. They can also find you at Instagram. I'm super active on Instagram too, even though I'm kind of like, with Instagram, it's like a love-hate relationship. But yeah, we're there. We're there. It's all the pretty pictures we're there for, isn't it? Also, what did I want to say? Something. Oh yeah, this is what I want to tell you guys. We'll be back next week. Our special guest is going to be Miss Melinda of Miss Melinda's Metaphysical Services. She is amazing. You will not want to miss that one. We will be same bat time, same bat channel. I have an announcement that I forgot that I remembered at halfway through, which is if you are going to Pantheacon, this is the last Pantheacon coming up in February around Valentine's Day weekend. We just got the word, Jim Barker and I are going to be hosting Studio 78. What happens when you do a mashup between Studio 54 and the 78 cards of the tarot deck? You get Studio 78. We're going to do all retro disco aligned with each of the tarot cards. So we're going to be putting songs up and the corresponding tarot cards are going to be projected onto the walls. This is our vision. It may be just me singing a song and holding a card. I don't know what it's going to be, but we're planning a big disco party. And so if you want to come and have a fabulous disco, it's going to be the last Pantheacon that we know about. We're going to be throwing this amazing party in the Pantheacon. So you will have that to look forward to if you are coming out for that. You should come out for Pantheacon. It's kind of fun.
Oh, I would love that. I mean, disco and tarot, I'm there.
Oh my gosh. It's so much fun. Disco tarot party. We're going to be back next week. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you so much to Cooper. You are a delight. I love you so much. You are just such a bright light in this world, bringing your beautiful gifts, sharing your beautiful gifts with everyone, and helping people as a Virgo does. As a Virgo does. You're a helper. Can't help yourself.
Thank you so much, beautiful Cancer.
I love my Virgos. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Can I just say one thing before you? I call myself the Virgo Whisperer because I have a lot of Virgo friends. I had a Virgo boyfriend in the past. I have a Taurus boyfriend now, but my Virgo boyfriend in the past, Virgo friends. I know how to talk you guys down when you start spinning. When you start getting anxious, I'm like,
we hella need for sure.
I go, come to mama. Oh my gosh, let me hug it out. It's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. And I'm a Virgo Whisperer.
I love that. I call my Virgo, like, I'm the mom friend of everyone, but moms need moms too. And I feel like Cancers are the perfect astrological mom to Virgo.
I'm everybody's mama. I'm everybody's mama. All your guys' mama. You want to talk to mama? Mama's here for you. I love you guys so much. So thanks so much, everybody. Thanks to all of you guys. We had such a nice big crowd in the Spell Squad members coming in. Thanks to Cooper for being here. Thanks to all of you for being here. I love you guys so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week when we have Miss Melinda, who's also amazing. So you will want to come for her. And have a beautiful, beautiful week. Let's dedicate this. I should have done this at the beginning. I do everything out of order. Let's dedicate this to Walter Mercado. The spirit of Walter Mercado lives on. Yes. Love Walter Mercado. He was a ray of light in this world. Let him always ask yourself, what would Walter do? Mucho, mucho, mucho amor, right? Mucho, mucho amor. All right, everybody. Have a mucho, mucho amor week, and I'll see you next Sunday, same time. Thanks again, Cooper, and we'll get in touch. We'll have you back again sometime. We loved having you. You're amazing, and we'll make it happen. All right? All right, everybody. Bye. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. With mucho amor. Bye.